Right. So we just talked a little bit about the sales pipe, the customer journey, the process, the sales pipeline, and we've discussed in other meetings the importance of taking people through the process. And the number of people we take through will reveal our statistics. We want to engage with people, and maybe it's important that we do consider that, because one of the things that when a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs do a lot of networking and they engage with a lot of people. And I suppose you've got to think, well, why am I engaging with those? How am I measuring it? Because if you were engaging with 10 people this week and you could bring nobody through a pipeline, in other words, you found that nobody was really interested in finding out a bit more about how you could help them, then maybe there's things we need to ask ourselves. And unless we know those figures, we end up being very busy at the end of a week, having spoken to a lot of people and thinking, what the hell has that done, you know? So that's why I think it's important, first of all, to have a process, or to at least think through the process, to write down on, brainstorm, what is the process I'm using? Is it random? Is it working? How could it work better? And that's what the whole subject is about today. So how are we doing? That's the big question. How many people are coming through the pipeline each week or month? From where? Now, you see, Ollie, as a thinking website designer and developer, knows the value of analytics. He knows the value of looking at his spreadsheets or his analytics to know how many people are going onto a site, what's getting them there, what are the keywords, where are they going to next, and where have they come from, what's the biggest source, where they're going to next. And that is second nature to Ollie. And he's able to help a lot of people. And Ollie will know the vast majority of people he deals with haven't got a clue in that area. And there's a really big opportunity. Am I right there, Ollie?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the point is, the same approach and mindset must be to other things we're doing if it's not on the net, i.e. our networking, our social media activity. If we had the analytics, even if they were crude analytics, we would know where the gaps are, what was working, what wasn't. What gets measured gets done. Somebody once told me that, as a German guy I was working for. He was absolutely fanatical about measurement to a point he took all the fun out of the business, but nevertheless, he was probably right. We can be creative and have fun, but we need occasionally and often look at, what are the numbers? So when it comes to websites, and again, Ollie will probably be able to comment on this, my view, not being a website designer, is most people decide that the first thing they need is a website, and they'll look at all their competitors, and there's a certain amount of conformity. There's certain things that a website perhaps needs. It needs a tag at the top that says home, about, contact, what we do, prices, all the sort of headings that people have. And I'm not saying these are the ones that Ollie designs, but a lot of web designers do lots of fizzy bits and really interesting bits, but and flashing lights and what have you. And I just wonder whether people look at it from their point of view, showing off technology, or here's the latest technology, so you've got to have all these things. But in terms of the consumer, the person that's looking at your website or looking at a website, and we do this on other websites, what are the websites that appeal? What are the websites that provide clarity? Or do they provide confusion? I go on websites and most of it I don't even look at, and I get confused. And by the way, I was on a website for somebody call today, and I got completely confused. And I did a few clicks, and there were certain products available, and all the products were available. And I had no idea which one I should go to. Now, oh, okay, I wasn't in the target audience. But in other words, do we analyze our website? Do we analyze the way we are doing things digitally in terms of clarity for the consumer? I'm not sure that most people do. I'm absolutely convinced that most people just focus on a homepage and about page. I'm not sure what necessarily the page is to start with. Is it about? Is it a contact? Is it, this is what we do? And by the way, we sound exactly like our competitors that do what we do. So I'm going to suggest that, and I'm not going to negate a website, and a sales funnel is a website, by the way. A landing page is a web page. So I'm not getting into one or the other, but I'm going to look at the two together. And I'm going to then show you 3 sales funnels to get us thinking, and then we can open up the discussion. Websites to me are a little bit like John Lewis. This is John Lewis at Cribbs Causeway, and I hear they're a very good company. They've got great quality products. I'm not sure what I want. There's a few things I might want, but I'm going to go in because as a consumer, I like shopping, and actually I'm one of those rare men that like shopping and wandering around and see what I didn't know I needed. However, I think that's a little bit like going onto a website. You go into a John Lewis store, and then you've got different floors, different routes you can take, and you're overwhelmed with it. It's quite exciting. And then you go down the escalator to the next floor or the next page, and then you've got all this overwhelm. And that is the simile I'm suggesting with the average website. Imagine, though, that at that door you met a gentleman or a woman that announced that they were a personal shopper. They would actually help them with what they wanted today, what they think they'd wanted. They'd probably ask questions. They'd probably narrow down exactly how they could help them. And they would take them exactly to where they should be. They would show them a small range or a range of products or services they said they wanted, and they would make the decision. Would that be a shopping experience that was less stressful, more personal, more special than letting somebody wander around John Lewis on their own? Would that have more value? You see, a specific landing page and funnel, to me, is a little bit like a personal shopper on auto. It's making the shopping experience that, okay, you still got to get the audience in, but it's making that experience a lot quicker, a lot less stressful, more personal and special. So why use a funnel? And then I'll explain what a funnel is for those that don't know. The first thing is, you could use a funnel for a variety of different ways, but whatever funnel you've got, it should be building your email list. It should be building your audience or the details of your audience, and not leave them on somebody else's channel. You know, LinkedIn own LinkedIn. They own that data. Facebook own that data. TikTok, etc. They own that data. You don't. Like a newspaper, you know, it's a bit like any media. They own the media, and sooner or later we must take those relationships we're building. We must take them into our system so that we own them. Now, whether that's writing it down on a piece in a diary like Rod, or whether it's bringing it into a CRM system, but if your future business is about the relationship you have with the audience, then you really must build your email list. It's the most valuable asset that you have. A funnel can completely automate your marketing. It can automate the sales process. I'm going to show you how in a minute. And it can scale lead generation and client acquisition on automatic in a way that doing it yourself will never do. you can't do as much as this technology. And it also has the added benefit of being able to increase your authority along the way. And so we can perhaps come back to this slide and see how we do that. So these are 3 sales funnels that you could use to build your business. Now, whether you do them within your website, Ollie would tell us that, whether you do it as standalone, some people would argue that actually this is all you really need to build your business. You don't need all the rest. I don't know. So first of all, it could be a lead magnet funnel. And I've got this from a particular webinar that I purposely looked at the replay to help me with this presentation. And this is where you've got an opt-in page, a landing page, and Ollie, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. An opt-in page, or rather a landing page, is one that you land on when you send somebody to something. If you send somebody to your website, you've already got a landing page. It's either about you, it's about your service, about your prices, your offer. It's one of a number of things, but that's the landing page. And you've got to think, how hard is that landing page working? What is it required to do? And the suggestion here is it's required to get some qualification. In other words, in exchange for some value and information, grab an email detail, or get somebody to hold their hand up and say, hey, I'm a little bit curious about what you're doing, or I'm interested, or I'm in a position now where I would like to know more. So this is a lead magnet. It's a valuable piece of information that when they put their details in, and it could be at this stage, you want lots of details. That'll reduce the number of people that actually opt in, but it will have very much a great deal of qualification. Ollie mentioned about having a contact form, and most people have a contact form, but it's hidden somewhere away from the sales pitch. It invariably is hidden. And in fact, most pages don't have any call to action on most websites. So somebody has an opt-in page, they're requesting some information. Let's say it's a series of videos or a teaser video. It could be a report, a written report. And I'll show you some other things it could be. So the minute they got that detail, that goes in, as you see below, into your email list. And the right responder will be able to acknowledge that they've done that. And they can either say, we'd like to double opt in, or they just give the information. For those that don't know, they're watching this recording perhaps, a double opt-in is where they receive the email and they confirm that it's then that you give the information. Or you can at least get the email and you then you have a delivery page. The delivery page in this instance gives the value. And then the series of videos, emails may follow up on that. And then maybe at that point, that delivery page sends them to an offer. And it could be a teaser offer, what they call a tripwire offer. It could be the main offer. So there's a lead magnet funnel. Even if you could drive traffic to that and it's compelling enough, and that, by the way, is not the easy bit, the compelling headlines, the promise, etc. If you could drive people to that, your email list would grow, and along the end of that, a certain percentage of people would make the offer. It's no different than you speaking to somebody, arranging a Zoom call, producing your personality and maybe helping people as I do and as everybody else does, and then saying, would you like to work with me? And it shouldn't negate that, but it does that in addition. And that might be a more effective way for it to work. The next one is maybe a consultation funnel. This is an interesting one. Here you've got an opt-in. This person, I think it says, a guide to starting or growing a thriving healing practice. That's interesting, Chris. So they're offering a guide. And that guide looks as if it's in written form. But when they go to the thank you page, there's a video. It's not necessary, but a video is quite a compelling way to say, hey, thank you for asking for that report. It's on its way to you. But I'm looking for just a few people from the number of people asked for a report that would like to work with me. And this is why, blah, 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 blah. That's the creative bit. And then there's a button that says, if you'd like to discuss this further, this is something perhaps I could use, then here's a link to my calendar. Can you see how you can automate that? And by the way, the email, the second and the third email, etc., could refer back to that calendar. In other words, that's part of the process. And the result is then there's a phone call or a Zoom call, and then you decide whether they can work with you. Would that speed up the consultation? Would that be impressive? Would that be doing the personal shopping bit, walking them through the process that we've talked about? Third area is an interesting one. This is the third one. This is the Tripwire offer funnel, and it's commonly used with internet marketers. I don't think it's not a tripwire. It's the hey, experience working with me, and then or this is something that will tease people into making a decision. So again, it's the opt-in page. It's the offer of some content that will solve a person's problem, and they offer that at a very, very low cost, and maybe aiming or part of what you have to offer at a very low cost. The idea of that is that that will pay for your advertising. If that pays for your advertising and you pay per click, etc., and then brings in a lot of inquiries, the law of averages in your stats will fit in with the rest of it, so that somebody buys that, whatever it is. I don't know what it is in this case, but as they're about to order, having filled in the necessary details, you then get an extra page that says, oh, by the way, you bought that, but just for a little bit more, you could have that. So again, that could be sold by copy, it could be sold by video. And if you think that's a little bit sneaky, you don't need to, because Amazon do it all the time. You buy something and you're looking to buy, and you look below and it says, a lot of people buy this and this together at this special price. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And in fact, for many of us, actually showing how the advantage people can have to work with you could be a very good advantage. And then, of course, there's the further upsell. And anybody doing this, and this is, I think a lot is done on the internet in this way, people eventually know the stats on that. So it won't be that they're buying ads at £10 a time, that the Tripwire offer is £10. They'll know from the average of the number of people that do take the bump or the upsell, that at £10 is going to result in a return of, I don't know, £200 or whatever. That one is perfect for acquiring customers at no cost. Now, I'm just going to now end it, but yet last night, and I was thinking about the video side of my business, I always think, and I haven't thought, there's other ways in which I can do this, but I thought there's a lot of people sitting on the edge of using video. They're the people I want to talk to. Now, whether they do video for themselves or whether I do their video or somebody else does their video, I'm passionate about the value of video for any business. And the thought there is that I took a blog post that's got lots of ways and different ways you can use video. I turned it into a PDF. I turned that PDF into an image. I uploaded it to some software and I produced that. I didn't pay this man anything. It's a standard stock picture, but I think it's rather trendy, actually. And that is one of the things I'm going to use to get people to opt in for that report. Now, it doesn't matter that I didn't produce, I've admitted in the copy that I didn't produce the report, but it's valuable content. It's the complete guide to great video content marketing, something like that. I think that's what it says. So again, you can see how that could fit in. And of course, when somebody opts in for that, I won't grow the beard, but I at least will talk to that person and say, look, I'm sending you that report, but this is what I'd love to do next. And then maybe send them to a link where they can arrange a call. So I'm going to stop that share and then just open up and see what any comments from all of that.